Hello, welcome to Cassandra's Tarot, Dice, and Spiritual Advice. This is the Hierophant, aka Patrick. And I said I was going to stop saying Cassandra's Tarot, Dice, and Spiritual Advice, but I felt like it today, so I did it. I feel like behind the scenes, I do my best to work semi-tirelessly for the collective, you know? I guess as one of the people, as someone, like, I feel like part of my calling is to do some collective stuff that's a little bit more external than internal for me personally. And I guess I can't necessarily try to hold everyone to the same standard or whatever. I'm listening to my Peaceful Meditations playlist. And I kind of want to be on here for a minute today. I just feel like pouring. So I already shuffled and cut this. Let's see what's at the top. Ooh, that Queen of Pennies. Guardian of the World. Ooh, with the 3 of Wands on the bottom of the deck, though. I forgot to check the white balance on my camera before I did this, so it's going to be a little bright today, but it is what it is. With the politic at the bottom of the deck. I don't know what I say all that to say. I guess I say all that to say that my role may be a little different. And I guess I did have that dream a while ago about being on the mountaintop and that angel who was just watching me, not even helping me. But it's fine, because, you know, I ended up figuring it out for the most part. I want to give this a few shuffles. I just want, like, one card. Actually, I don't, because I want to use the dice first today. I hope everyone's doing well. If you watch this, if you come across this, I hope you're doing well. I went to the store today, got myself some sugar, not too much sugar. Also got some tea and some juice. I've been wanting some juice lately, so I got some orange juice. I wanted to get some grape juice and some apple juice too, but that was, you know, a little much. And I already pulled a few cards for myself just to get that out of the way. The Archangel of Healing came up, which was really nice. Yeah, I think I kind of sort of slept last night, which was exciting. We'll just leave that like that. And then I'll go off of these. I really, like, I love using these. But if I don't get what I want, then I get a little upset. Because it's like, what if I turn this off? Ooh, that's probably better. Let me see, actually. Because then I can turn this up. I got a few little things back here. See? Dynamism. And then that little shadow right here went away. Well, we'll see. We'll see. If I can see. Number 3, 270, 16, or is that 10? No, 16 and 1. 1, 2, 3. Oh. I saw 123 today too. Every time I see 1, 2, 3 on the clock, I go, oh. It's who I am now. It's part of me. Y'all can't really see these. Oh well, it doesn't matter. But yeah, my dreams have been kind of sort of chillish. I guess for the most part, I've done a lot of what I need to do for the collective, and the rest is kind of sort of on y'all. Because, like, I can put all my little energy or whatever into manifesting a better world, or at the very least, like, shifting the timelines. Because if y'all want to be stuck on a, you know, slower timeline, by all means, no one should be forced to accelerate if they don't wish to go any faster. If you don't want to move, shouldn't nobody force you to move, right? So if y'all want to be stuck, then, you know, be my guest. But I'm going to depart the party and, you know, keep it moving somewhere else that's a little more hopping and popping. But yeah, there are a lot of things that I guess sort of have to be experienced, but it's fine. Why did I put this away? So the 1, the 2, the 70 is the 10, 9, 8, 7. Oh, it's that 7 of souls again, isn't it? 64, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 70. Yeah, it's the 7 of souls again. I've gotten the 7 of souls before. I don't remember what that video was, but that's what 70 is. This is 70, right? Yep, it's 70. 70 is the 7 of souls. Oh, another 3. This 3 is Gemini. This 16 is the Tower. And then we have the sacral and the solar plexus. So the element is water. Water being the essence. The essence being different than the soul, but being related. Barely separable, but still separable. The 7 of souls. So the journey of the soul is different than the journey of the essence, because with the journey of essence, it's all about stripping ourselves and rebuilding ourselves. The journey of souls is all about, like, it's unidirectional. It's always inside. It's always going inside because the soul is indivisible. But the essence can kind of sort of carry many flavors. I guess in some ways, and again, nothing is necessarily written down yet, so it always kind of sort of shifts and changes as it needs, which I kind of like, but I'd also like to write something down. But the essence is almost the clothes that your soul wears or the hat that your soul puts on for whatever situation you're in, right? And so it's like you're essentially always that soul. But when it comes to purpose and practicality, it's a different sort of fractalization of the self, right? And before you've really completed the journey of essences, you may be a little bit more fragmented and fractalized. And so the 7 of souls is all about going through the journey, because 7 is a spiritual number, right? So it's almost like a hermit energy, but not really. The 7 of souls is you going through the journey, being exposed to who you really are, but not yet fully claiming it, not yet fully stepping into it. I feel like at the 7, you're still kind of shielding your eyes from it a little bit. And so, depending on what everything else looks like, this could be us erecting our own veils to sort of limit what we see. Or I'm gonna give me 1 second. I hope I don't bump this, but I'm gonna move this overhead a little bit more. Now you can see the shadow of the camera. Oh, it's fine. It's fine. There we go. That did maybe not too much for you, but a little bit of something for me. Where's the thing? I have to turn this down a little bit. I just so happened to get this set up not just right, but right enough to just hit that live button. So depending on how you engage at the 7 point, either you will face it without a veil, or you will erect one. And then if you erect one, it's going to skew the journey. Now, we have water, and I'm getting an element of purification, but it's a lot slower than purification by fire. Like I kind of sort of tried to allude to yesterday, but I couldn't get no like Grand Canyon emoji. 1 drop wears away the stone, right? And so it's like erosion. These external constructs and these external systems are eroding because the water of the spirit is doing its thing, right? It isn't necessarily happening all at once, but it is an expansive process. Last night I was laying down and I start to get this little like crown headache thing. And to deal with it, I just like, it sounds weird. I'm not gonna, I'm just gonna say what I do. I know it all sounds weird. You ain't gotta tell me. But for me, it works. I just like expanded my mind and then it went away. Because it's almost like you're trying to get more information in than you have space for. So just create a little bit of space. The human mind is amazing. It it's like your brain is confined to your skull, right? But your mind can encompass so much. Like if I tell you to imagine the universe, or like, zoom your world out until you get the galaxy. Let's just do Milky Way. A lot of people have seen a picture of the Milky Way. So you can like kind of sort of envision it. And if you can't, just imagine it, right? All of that within the confines of like your skull, it's interdimensional. Anyway, so that's what this water is for. This water sort of has this purification energy, but it's due to erosion. And so if you look at the sort of spots in the illusion that are being eroded, there's almost this opportunity. It's like picking at wallpaper, and you can like peel the whole thing back, or you can sort of patch it up as it falls off, as it peels off. So there's also an element of humidity here, which again is connected to the water. It's also very humid outside today. Not extremely humid, but humid enough that I don't want to be out there. So with the 2 and the 3, the sacral and the solar plexus, I forget which of these is feminine and which of these is masculine. But this Gemini energy is kind of sort of screaming out to me a little bit. But it's telling me to flip it. What just popped into my mind is our choices and our decisions are always honored by spirit. And so if the veil would lift, and I said this before recently, if the veil would lift and if you would choose to replace it with another, that choice will be honored. And so you may not see. When challenged, if you choose to run, that choice will be honored. So you may not rise. You might when you come back, if you come back, depending on when you come back. Like there's always the opportunity to grow. But that's, and maybe it's, I don't know, because it's like I feel like sometimes I don't know the time frame for which I'm speaking. I'm gonna be real honest. I don't know the time frame for which I'm speaking because sometimes it seems like I feel energy on such a subtle upper dimensional level that by the time I see it and feel it, like the time between when I see it and feel it and can pick up on it and the time in which you actually begin to live it may be different. And it's like that gap can be anywhere. I pulled cards for this year, and I'm never doing it again. Because I looked at my cards for 2020. I was like, I'm not buying this. I'm creating something better. And then in March, everything happened, and I was like, oh my gosh. But my overall energy for 2020 was the 6 of Wands, so I'm not too worried about it. But at the same time, I'm looking at these cards, and actually, the later half of the year is kind of sort of beautiful. It starts to pick up July and August. September, it really picks up apparently. And then in December, something interesting supposedly is going to happen. I don't know what that's about, but we'll see. And then I also did it by zodiac sign as well. So I got a spread by months and a spread by zodiac. But I looked at that, I was like, and then, everything happened. So 2021 we sit pretty, hopefully. But yeah, the time difference maybe, I don't know, because it's different when you sort of drop in density. Things get more dense, and so it takes more time. It takes longer to break through, and then at a certain level, our choices also interact at the same time. I'm gonna grab an icebreaker because why not? I almost bought some more when I was at the store, but I didn't. Is this the mini or the one? Oh, that's the mini. I just want one. So I guess I say all that to say I was about to say something, and that's why I prefaced it with that. I don't remember. I'm probably gonna be here for a while today. Don't know if I'm gonna timestamp. So I mean, you can always check the description or the comments. I used to put it in the description like all the time. Now I'm getting a little, well, now it kind of sort of depends. And I kind of didn't want to do this live. I might just go to pre-recorded videos because for some reason it takes the live videos so long to process. Like, okay, it's done now. I was about to say the one I did yesterday is still processing, but it's done. But it was processing like all day. I'm like, this is a 20-minute video. It shouldn't take this long to process. Oh well. But anyway, getting back to this, and I guess I preface it that way because I don't know, because it seems like there's stuff that I feel and notice, and I'm glad I've started to say something, regardless. In the past I would wait for somebody else to say it for confirmation, but now I'm just like I'll say it, I'll speak it, and then I can watch other people sort of hop onto it later if they do, you know. But also, you know, I work hard for the collective over here. I really do. Especially in the astral. Now, for me, I've been kind of chillaxing a little bit. Somebody else might have stepped up, or we may just be in that point where it's all decision based. Why is that? What is that? When I said that, I just got an image of it's being recycled. I don't know who or what, but it's almost like before, if you prayed, it would go up the chain. But now it feels like it's being pushed back down to you. I guess it's the season where we break our own chains. It's a make or break season. It's a make or break time. For some people. I guess I should preface it by saying that one. And again, who knows when this is gonna happen. I feel like it's been happening for me. I guess I've been seeing it myself personally for a minute. Since like February. And it all started because I was like, wait, if I'm in this mood and I'm looking at videos on my like little home tab or whatever on YouTube, I see all these videos confirming that. But if like 3 seconds later I hop on a different vibration and I refresh that page, all the titles are different. So what is happening? It's almost like we're getting immediate confirmation. And the problem with immediate confirmation is that you don't necessarily see things as they are. And that was before everything fell apart. So it just put me in a space to connect more so myself and to, you know, try to drive a little bit. And I feel like I've done a decent job. But anyway, let's get back to this. Because this tower is here. This is the green set. It's kind of sort of related to the heart, or it could be. I have 3 sets today. I'm going to do all of them. And then I'll pull the cards if I feel like it. They're kind of sort of just there for support. So this Gemini energy is telling me that it's like flip it, reverse it, double it. Scale it up, shrink it, scale it down, enlarge it. There's like a Photoshoppy type energy. Distorted distortions. So we may not be getting straight up reflections, or something is a little distorted right now. It's almost like with some people. Oh, wow. I'm going all the way off the deep end today, y'all. I'm going to just say this right here at 20 minutes and 31 seconds in. I'm going all the way off the deep end. Ain't no explaining, ain't no whatever. I'm just saying it. It almost feels like you don't know which side of a person you're going to be getting with this Gemini energy. And the Gemini energy feels like you could be encountering the shadow of someone, even if that person isn't in their shadow. So it almost feels like there are many, 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 many levels and layers of Earth all laying on top of each other. And some people may be interacting with you based off of the experience that you need to have with them, but that may not necessarily be speaking to the truth of who they are. Because in their world, in their reality, things could be going a completely different way. And how many people are we interacting with? How many people are we interacting with? Is that how I said that? Isn't this done? Hold up. Because I know it's not, but did we just enter a different phase? If this is the tower, I'm about to flip. Figuratively. I am not literally. Okay, no, it's the Six of Wands. Okay, all these are in reverse. The Six of Wands is here. Clarify this. The Fool. With the Ten of Pentacles. Okay. So the Six of Wands clarified by the Fool, the Initiate. So this is brand new. Oh, with the Keeper at the bottom of the deck, though. Keeper at the bottom of the deck, though? Now that's the heavy hitting Fool right there. You've already done this. You've already completed it on different levels. Spiritually, it's done. Mentally, you want it. Physically, you have to align to it. Everything is already set in place. Everything is kind of sort of prepared to be set into motion, and it's all so precariously balanced right now. It's almost like the universe is really sensitive to what we're doing in this time. I don't know if we've necessarily claimed this yet. Because as I'm looking at this Six of Wands, it's almost like these Six Wands are sort of preventing us from approaching the throne. I don't know if we fully come into who we are yet. Some of us, on a more, broad collective level, I don't think we fully come into who we are. Maybe some people have. But with this Keeper down here and the Fool coming out, I just want to shuffle this to get something different. Archangel of Glory. What's at the top of the deck? Ooh, the Demon. That double energy. It's so bright. There you go. Now you can kind of see it. So anyway, with this tower, the tower is related to the water, but the tower is also, it feels like something that we can call down. So if you want a drastic shift, I feel like we can make it happen. Between the sacral and the solar plexus, it's time for us to align those two so that there's this energy of like sacred creation. And also with this Gemini energy and the sacred creation, is if you establish it and build it in your sacred space, then there are sort of like bridges being established to bring it into your physical space. And in that last video I did, it kind of sort of goes back to that luminous void energy, going into the dark and then expanding your light and then calling it back and then exiting, right? It's like kind of sort of like going to a store, um, but it's dark. So you use your intuition to go to the spot in the complete dark where you want your item on the shelf. You expand your light, you pick it up off the shelf, and then you call your light back and you keep moving. It's almost like when your light is expanded, you have to stop. You have to stop moving. And so you can imagine that if you don't fully trust that you'll be led to the things that you want, you're going to take a really, really, really long time in the store if you have to stop and expand your light every second so you can see, right? It's all about learning how to move in the dark. And it's also about learning how to cast light at the same time. But honestly, a lot of it boils down to alignment and trusting in your intuition. Right? You trust your intuition, you know you'll be led where you need to go. I guess there's also an element of courage or bravery because you have to actually do whatever it takes to get whatever you want. Right? It's not that it'll necessarily be handed to you anymore. You may get instructions on how to get it. But those are the three things: alignment, trusting your intuition, and the bravery or courage to actually do it and to actually follow through. And it's like it's kind of sort of wide open. Um, yeah, so that's everything here. Let's grab the second bag and let's see. This may be completely different. It might clarify. Oh, oh, the gray set, and that came out right on 5. I'll keep it. 5 is the. That's the 5th chakra, y'all. What's the 5th one? The throat. Yes, the throat. So this is about speaking it. So a lot of this over here, it's kind of sort of more internal. Now we're entering this external space with the throat. We have, is this 17 or 11? It's 17. We got a star. We got a star. A sippy split. And 18, or is this 19 or 16? What's this? This is actually 16. So we got 16 and 17, which is the star and the tower again. So the tower pops up twice. I guess the tower's like, you didn't say enough last time. Here's an 11. 11 is Aquarius. So we got Aquarius twice in the star. Number 7. So we have the throat and the crown. And then number 2. Wow, the second element. If I get the 3 on the next one, I might have to pull out a 4th set to see if I'll get all 4 elements. The element here is earth. The element up here was water. Water speaks to the spirit and the subtle nature of things in a way that isn't air. Excuse me, or fire for that matter, I guess. Earth speaks to the things that are actually tangible. But between the crown, the throat, the star, these are things that we make tangible. This is all about giving our own, oh my gosh, don't ask me how. The 2 rules for today are don't ask me why and don't ask me how. Don't ask me why in the case of like I'm trying not to try to explain everything so I don't like lose it. Don't ask me how in the case of like I may say something and don't ask me how to do it. If you got to ask me how to do it, you've already lost the game because you should be asking yourself how to do this and connecting to that part of you that already knows, or getting that part of you that knows a little bit more to connect to somebody in the spiritual realm that knows. But I'm seeing this as us giving our own. I mean, all of this is really about becoming creators, co-creators, about becoming co-creators. This is about us giving our own thoughts, our own feelings, our own vibrations, the vibrations that we carry within us, enough weight to manifest on the outside. And it's it falls along the lines of the law of attraction, I feel like, but it also is more elevated and more subtle. Now, this being the gray set means that why do I always want to pull cards to try to clarify something? I don't need it. It's an area of something that isn't necessarily being done right now, and it isn't extremely accessible. It's like it is, but it isn't. And again, there are some places that the shadow cannot exist in as a shadow, just like there are some places that the light cannot exist in as a light. And so within the individual, it requires a lot more alchemy, right? To convert light into shadow, to convert shadow into light, and to not be consumed in the process, right? Like if you convert all of your light into shadow, to enter a space, that don't mean you out there acting all kinds of a fool, doing all kinds of stuff you know you shouldn't be doing. And if you convert all of your shadow to the light, that doesn't mean that, all of a sudden you ain't got no backbone, you ain't got no spine. It's more advanced than that, is how it came to my mind. I guess I could kind of sort of try to explain it a little bit just to dig into it, right? Because what would that mean? But I feel like that's the element of Earth here. It's like we are the Earth. We give it enough weight to come into being. We reach into those spaces beyond spaces, into those dimensions between dimensions where it exists already in one form, and we bring it into this space to exist physically. Now, it's a lot easier to stop at the mental level than it is the physical level. Mental changes that you want to make within yourself, it's a lot easier to do that than it is to like pull a Jeep out of the thin air, right? Right? It's like I'm going to use this magic to assemble the protons, neutrons, and electrons into the molecules I need for these different pieces of the Jeep, and they're all just going to swirl together, and then in a magical, like golden glitter puff poof cloud, a Jeep will appear. I mean, it would be amazing if that happened, right? I guess not to say that it couldn't, but you'd have to be like really, really, really good to do that. And on this plane, I don't know, but why limit ourselves? But between the throat and the crown, there's something about the word here. But the word, there's something about the word. 17 is the star, which is a light in the dark. A light in the dark being that which I was thinking of stars earlier, because people say, if you wish upon a star, that star is already dead, trying to kill people's dreams. But it almost felt like in the twinkling of a star is a light being born and reborn and reborn and reborn, right? Because every time it goes dark, when it twinkles, it comes back together and then it falls apart again. And so we have a star and the tower, and I feel like those two together are kind of sort of giving me this energy. It's almost like it's trying to jumpstart something. Maybe that Jeep. Maybe someone's gonna get a new Jeep. Um, and I guess with this Aquarian energy, it may be something that we come into a lot more once we're actually like firmly in this, and once we come more fully out of this age of Pisces, and once everything that needs to be sorted in the world is sorted, and the vibration collectively is a lot higher, and we're not playing cleanup. And these cleanup times, it's going to be maybe not as accessible, but afterwards it may be a lot more. So right now, it's almost like this ability exists in the space between spaces. For one who is advanced enough to claim it, it is ready to be claimed, but it's not. It ain't here for the masses yet, or even for the adepts yet. Like you got. I feel like for this, you got to be extremely advanced. Oh, is this my mama saying that food done? Cause it's now done. It is. My mama said food done. Oh snap! Give me that ice. Give me that ice. Hey, I love the cards by Alicia or the cards by Alicia. Like it's all one word. Check her out on Instagram if you feel so inclined. She got like super cool graphics. She got some spreads on there. She came up with an ally spread, and I almost came live and did it the other night, but I didn't. Oh, the lucky break. Hey, let's go. It may be time for me to bust a move, though. Oh, I almost picked number one, too. I almost picked number one because I was like, I never pick number one. But I like my number four. I'll take that ace of pennies. Thank you. I'm Yeah, with this Aquarian energy, it's like it sits on the bounds of it sits in tomorrow, but it can be grasped today, if that makes any sense. If you can reach far enough to get it. Can you reach into tomorrow? If you can reach into tomorrow, then you could probably do this. Maybe. Well, even if you could reach into tomorrow. That's why it's like don't ask why, don't ask how. Maybe I'll make that the title. Don't ask why, don't ask how. I'm just gonna open it and we're gonna go into all kinds of seventh, eighth, and ninth dimensional things. Maybe higher, but not too much. Am I done with these? I guess I am. But yeah, I feel like this is all about learning how to add weight to the things that we're manifesting. Learning how or needing to. Because it's like the old systems are still in place. They're not going anywhere and they won't go anywhere. And I don't know who this is for, but I'm loving it. Because as you conceptualize it, as you build it within your own mind, it's already done in the spirit. You just got to align to it in the physical. And then boom, your gift has just exploded, right? And you get something brand new. Oh, it's the purple set. I was thinking it'd be the blue set. Also, I'm like kind of sort of developing a psychic stomach, low key. I'll just like have a random food craving, or I'll think about food, and then later in the day, somebody in the house will be like, "Hey, we're getting this." I'm like, "What? What?" Like one day I got some egg roll cravings. I was like, "Ooh." And then later that evening, my mama go outside. My grandmama done pulled up with a bag of egg rolls. It's only with food, right? It's predominantly with food. So I don't know. Maybe the Taurus in my chart is getting hit first with these upgrades. I mean, I guess it is my ascendant, so psychic stomach. Ooh, I think I'm gonna have a quinoa salad or whatever today. And then later, someone's like, "Oh my gosh, I have so much extra quinoa salad. Do you want some?" I'm like, "Yeah, I guess. Why not?" Anyway, back to this. So we have the towers kind of sort of linking these two. So this is the heart. These are your spaces in between spaces that aren't necessarily consigned or confined to one thing. Also, I was using the word relegated. I've used the word relegated before. Relegated is not the word that I want to use anymore because relegated kind of sort of implies a little bit of what I want, or what I meant. But when you relegate something to somebody, it's almost like, you have a supervisor who there's a task that he could do that he or she probably should be doing, but then they like push it off on you. Like they relegate their work to you to do for no extra pay. Not not to me, not no more. Anyway, this is about adding weight to things. 5 and 7, the throat and the crown. Something about the word is here. With the star in the tower, it's all about. I guess the star in the tower could also sort of be that as a star is born and reborn, right? That could be speaking to that space of navigating the luminous void. Um, and I'm gonna do this differently. I'm not gonna take any of these. I'm gonna shuffle this up a little bit, and I want to see what's around the Ace of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles. Look how well I'm shuffling today, y'all. And I got some goodies coming in the mail soon. I ordered them a long time ago, like in March, I believe. It might have been in the March. No. Yeah. It might have been the end of March. Might have been early to mid-April. And they're not shipped yet, but they will be shipped soon. I'm like, oh my gosh. But also at the same time, I'm trying to learn to be patient, And also, it's not that I'm getting impatient, but there are just so many things I want to say. I'm ready to move. Excuse me, in so many areas, and I'm balancing between the point of just making it happen and having enough temperance to not miss out on something. Because again, I feel like there may be a modification coming up, and I don't want to do something and then have to modify as I'm 3 steps off the cliff. And then I got to fly back onto the cliff, go to the other side of the island, and then jump into the water that way. What's this? Oh, a messenger. Oh, a messenger of pentacles. Okay, maybe this is the message. Bottom of the deck is the messenger of cups. So, I mean, y'all can't see her. There she is. The stronghold of the Grail and the stronghold of the Veil. I was looking for the aces, and they came out with these angels. So, hey, this is their combined message. I have several cards here. First is the Magician. So, yeah, I mean, basically clarifying everything I was talking about. Then is the Devil, the Hangman, and the Nine of Wands. So 3 majors, and then this Nine of Wands. This is Earth. This is in between. This is Spirit. Water, Mercury, and then Capricorn. It's almost like there are 3. The Nine of Wands is here. It's like there are 3 wands relegated. What's another word I can use? 3 wands split between these. 3 here, which is a 12-3. Interesting. 3 here, which is a 1. Then 3 here, which is a 15-6. And so the 3 in the spirit, the 3 in the mental plane that runs between the spirit and the physical plane, and then the physical plane with this Capricorn. Now, the physical plane is the slowest. With the Hangman, you see this Hangman is woke AF. Look at his eye. He sees all. These 2 in particular are really about creating and manifesting everything in that space. He has one eye that is the sun and one eye that is the moon, able to operate in that luminous void. And it's almost like from his eye, okay, this is just how I'm seeing it. It's almost like his eye has an ability to open portals. Yeah, hold him close enough, maybe you'll be able to see him. It's almost like that eye has an ability to open portals. So it's like he extends his light to create a rift between dimensions. He can enter and exit as he pleases. But it's like the things, this is why it slows down here. Because the things in that space can exist as is, but in that space they can't exist in this one. And so this is the way that we have to give it in order for it to stand in here. Because you can like feel the vibration of like having a Jeep and going vroom, 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 like it's a motorcycle, even though it's a Jeep. Don't judge me. I don't know cars. Jeep was just the first thing that came to my mind. You can tap into the feeling of it. Spiritually, you can already have it. Spiritually, we kind of sort of already have everything, or at least we have access to it. Right? But to make that physical is what this is all about. And then we have the Nine of Wands here. And again, it's like 3 in every one. This is about us holding every wand ourselves. It's given me, I don't know if y'all have ever played Final Fantasy 15, but it's given me Armiger. Was it the Armiger? I think it was called the Armiger. Armiger vibes, where like you have all these royal weapons that kind of sort of just pop up and surround you, and you can just like use any one, and you get all of them from like these royal tombs or whatever. But it's like that's you with all these wands. But it requires, instead of having 3 between the spirit, the mental, astral, and the physical, it's like you have all of them within you. Excuse me. Oh, here's this Holy See. He always be popping out. Oh, with this sharpshooter though. With that sharpshooter though, that 8 of Wands. Okay. I am, because it's almost like we have access to it, and it's learning how to use that relationship between your light, your dark, yourself, your inner child, your higher aspects, and I guess lower ones, if you have lower ones. I feel like if I say higher aspects, I have to say lower aspects, but it's getting them all on the same page within yourself. And this is a lot further than this 7 of Souls. Three of Swords. No, that's the 10. The 10 of Swords and Justice. We have 10 and then an 11. But at the 11, we get Justice. So that's cute. Right? Cute. And you see that big old Ankh behind her? It's huge. And then these big old swords that Kali has. Oh my gosh. The Holy See is at the bottom of the deck. And in this 10 of Swords, that's who she just put in the ground. Oops. Let me see if y'all can see. Can y'all see? Is it going to focus? Y'all see that little hand right there? You kind of can. I know it's getting a little blurry. It's getting a little blurry. It's too close to focus. But y'all see how that hand is pointed right there? That's literally this. These are the training wheels. And this is what happens when you no longer need them. But again, with that justice, it requires you to have every aspect of yourself in check and in balance. And a lot of people may not get there this lifetime. And that just fell on the floor. It's kind of sort of, oh, wow, it didn't fall on the floor. It was right there. It's an advanced concept. But it's all right. You know, something for people of multiple levels. Let's see. We got a 4 and a 5. So now we're at the heart and the throat. Another 11. This one is Justice. We have a 94. 94, I'll have to look that up. But it's probably, no, I ain't doing it. I'm just going to look it up. And we have a 4. Oh, I want to, and then we have 1. The 1 is Aries. Aries is cardinal fire. Let's see what this 94 is. I do want to pull one more bag to see if I'll get a 3, because then we'll have every element. This is the fire. Fire is the soul. Fire is the spark that is the beginning of the conception on the external before it's actually taken form. But it's bright, it's luminous enough that other people can see it or feel it or experience it. 94 is Mars. Mars and Aries. Wow, Mars and Aries on the table. So, hey. And we got this element of fire right here. So, this is all about the astrology right now, I guess. So, let me look at the astrology right now. Mars is officially out of Pisces. So, I hope y'all set y'all Marses on course because it's going to be in Aries for a hot minute, like all year, basically. Yeah, Mars is 0 degrees, 33 minutes. Saturn was 0 degrees, 12 minutes. So Mars and Saturn are conjuncting right now. Saturn is about to cross that cusp and go back into Capricorn. Neptune, 20 degrees, Pisces retrograde. Saturn, 0 degrees, Aquarius retrograde. Jupiter and Pluto are 7 minutes apart. Pluto is 24 degrees, 8 minutes. Jupiter is 24 degrees, 15 minutes. And Pallas is 24 degrees, 59 minutes. So when I told y'all that Pallas was coming to join the party this time, I did not know that she would be moving fast enough to be in the same degree when Jupiter went back to Pluto. Because Pallas was an Aquarius, I believe. So, and Icarus has gone back into Aquarius. It's retrograding again. It was in Pisces and then it was Aquarius. Icarus is doing this dance between Aquarius and Pisces right now. The moon is in Libra, 16 degrees. So it is separating from my Jupiter. Cool. Mercury is 11 degrees in Cancer right now. The sun is 7 degrees in Cancer. Sun and Mercury are closing in on my Mars. I got the sun on one side and I got Mercury on the other side, and they're both like 2 degrees away. So my Mars is just sandwiched in there. But I'm feeling pretty chill as compared to when Mercury first conjuncted my Mars. I'm feeling a lot more chill now. Venus is 5 degrees direct in Gemini. The nodes are 29 degrees and 4 minutes, Gemini and Sagittarius, and that's the astrology right now. So yeah, I hope y'all have. Oh, Mimi, girl, when you get in here? Girl, I'm just in here. I guess I was looking at my phone, reading off the astrology. Hi, hello, how are you doing today? You've been seeing 333 and 3333 a lot today. I saw my numbers, like my birthday, and right after I saw them on my phone, I looked up when I was in the store and I saw it was like a TV or something. I don't know. But it said 228. I was like, oh snap, it's my time. How are you doing? I'm just sitting here. I'm going all the way. So the two rules today are: don't ask me why and don't ask me how. I'm gonna pull one more bag because I want to see if I get the three to come out. Because I got like water here, earth here, and fire here. So I feel like they gotta give me air, low key. If I'm supposed to be the avatar, the master of all four elements. Let me stop. Actually, this would be Cora. Because she was Water Tribe. When they put The Legend of Korra on Netflix, I'll go. Like, I'll be on there. Like, I do love the original Avatar, but I watched Korra full through, and I'm partial to Korra, so I liked it. Some other people didn't. I did. This Mars touching your moon is going to be a wrecking ball. Ooh, you sat outside for 2 hours. Oh my. And in your first house. I have Aries in conjunct in my 12th house. So Mars is going to be in my 12th house for a very, very long time. Mars won't leave my 12th house until it's like 8 degrees Taurus. So Mars is in there doing all kinds of stuff. I don't even know what's happening in there. It's like Mars is fumbling around in the dark, just setting everything on fire. But oof. I wonder if that would be good for like self-esteem. Not that you necessarily have self-esteem issues, but with that being the house of self, what does that mean? My Venus is in Aries though, so I'm gonna be getting a little Mars Venus conjunction, which would be real cute. Still in the 12th house, so I don't know what's happening. But we have Justice, the Heart, and the Throat, Mars, Aries, and Fire. Oh, wow. Okay. So this could be, hold up, wait, let me pull some cards. I want to pull some cards first. I want to pull some cards first because there's justice between the heart and the throat now. So if some folks have been struggling to say how they truly feel about something, I feel like the truth is about to start coming out left and right. They say in wine, in anger, and in childhood, there is always truth. Mars and Aries is just straight up mad. This fire is burning. Somebody ain't gonna be able to contain it no more. With this Aries energy, with this Mars energy, it's gonna be like Hulk smash. And Mercury is retrograde right now. So somebody from your past, maybe trying to come back, trying to smash. It's gonna be real hot. Hopefully, you got the air on. But a lot of water signs have been coming back into my life within the past, I guess, week or so, since Mercury has been retrograde in Cancer. First, it was a Pisces. Yesterday, it was a Scorpio. Do I know any Cancers? Do I know any? Actually, I do know a Cancer. And for some reason, I have him in one of my apps, and I don't remember when or why I put him in there. But I put him in my app, and I was going through the profiles yesterday, seeing which ones I need to delete, because I ran some stuff for people on campus when I was back on campus, and I don't need those anymore. So, and I saw these initials, and I was like, "Who is this?" And I was like, "Oh, it's him." And he's a Cancer, so I mean, I don't know. What am I shuffling these for? Yeah, I just want to see what come out. Because is this talking about folks coming back out the woodwork, trying to let the whole forest on fire? You gonna know them coming by the smell of the burnt trees, girl. Luckily, these trees will be able to recover. Also, I was reading up on that sandstorm, and they say that there's a lot of Saharan or sub-Saharan sandstorms that sort of make the voyage across the water. They rise high enough in the atmosphere to get caught on trade winds, and the nutrients from the sand in the Sahara actually fertilize the Amazon, because the Amazon gets so much water that it just washes out all of the nutrients. And the Amazon is lush AF, right? And so it's these sandstorms carry the nutrients that they need. I think it was specifically phosphates and phosphorus and then sulfur, maybe. I was like, wow, that's so cool. But, they're going a little bit harder this time. They're going a little bit further. May not necessarily be good for your respiratory system, but it kind of sort of is good for the earth because it brings a lot of nutrients in the dust. Also brings some microbes, some bacteria that would be in the dust and some other stuff. So, it's a good thing we're all already wearing masks, right? It's a good thing everyone's already staying indoors, right? Then you ain't even got to worry about what kind of bacteria or fungal spores may be in these dust clouds from the desert in Africa. But yeah, it was really interesting, and it kind of sort of took me back to volcanic. I looked it up one day, and so volcanoes are really good because, again, they bring a lot of minerals. And if you get the soot from a volcano, it's better. If you get the lava from a volcano, it's not just as good, but it takes a long time for the lava to cool and then for it to break up, to actually for seeds to get between the cracks in the cooled lava and stuff like that. So it's still good, or it still carries nutrients, but the soot just basically dissolves into the earth. But the lava, it takes a while to break down. So there's, I guess, this energy of kind of sort of this after tower energy. Um, after the natural disaster, the earth keeps itself sort of replenished. And I just thought it was so wild that this is like happening. Because in the article, they were like, yeah, like it rains a lot in the Amazon, like a lot. And those plant, like it like the water just washes all of the nutrition out of the soil. And so you get these dust storms, sandstorms that come from Africa to replenish it. I was like, what? And I was just like, wow, like Earth really has a means of taking care of itself. It really does. Like she really be doing that, y'all. She really been doing that. And then here we have Justice again with the Magician and the Ten of Cups. What? Justice, the Magician, and the Ten of Cups. So this Mars and Aries energy may be having somebody like lit. I mean, the Five of Wands is here. So if you're the type of person, we may be coming into a phase of this Mercury retrograde. You can't even see it. Oh, there it is. We may be coming into this phase of Mercury retrograde where everybody coming back trying to get signed. It's like, man, maybe you should have made that milkshake indoors and not outside. Close the windows. Shut all the lights off. Make sure don't nobody hear the little blender going or whatever. That's why she's taking us out, JK. She ain't. I don't think she is. Like, if she wanted us gone, we'd be gone. Like, high key for sure. Like, I think that's the thing about Gaia that we don't necessarily see. Like, she's powerful enough. Like, if she really wanted us gone, we'd be gone. Like, no means of escape. Like, we would literally just be gone. But she may be giving us a little bit of that type of. Okay, so that's what this is all about, apparently. It's like the heart and the throat are finding a balance with this Justice energy here. Mars is an Aries. People want to move. This fire is here, really igniting things. If you talk about fire, and fire is an element of the soul, it could be like some soul family, some soul connections trying to come back in and really root themselves and get established. Now, that could be good or bad, so use your own discernment, right? Use your own discernment. But yeah, this fire is about to really, really be going. And I don't know how much longer folks are going to be able to handle it. And then with Justice, the Magician, and that Ten of Cups coming out, here's this blue set. This is the set that I thought that was. I'm becoming a little psychic, y'all. I just got to work on the timing. Okay, I'm kind of sort of hoping for 3 to come out, but whatever you want to give me, I'll take. I'm going right to that set first. No, it's another 4. It's more fire. Darn it, Mars. You ruined everything. Okay, so I didn't get air, but that's fine. The 7 here is Libra, right? So we got Libra here. We got a 1 here, which is a Magician. We have a 1 here, which is the root. We have a 5 here, which is the throat. And 4. What's number 4? The Emperor? So we have the Emperor, fire, so more Aries energy. The Magician, Libra, which could be that Justice that I literally just saw. Justice, Magician, and the Ten of Cups. But then we have the root and the throat. This is kind of sort of related to this, but not. I don't even know why I tried to draw that parallel. It just kind of sort of made. This is more so related to this, because as this fire is sort of building up and as people want to come in, there are certain things that must be faced first. And Mars in Aries is going to be giving people the courage to break through. Mars in Aries has the potential to give people the courage to break through walls and boundaries and barriers that they've been facing for a long time. It's like that ram that's been butting its head against the wall for decades that, people told to stop. Maybe your head started to bleed a little bit. It's about to bust through that wall. I'm so immature. I'm sorry. It's about to break through that wall. But so it's like the truth, the balance that's oops, what did I just knock this over to? The Lovers, number 6? No, that's a 9. That's a 9. It's the Hermit. It's the Hermit. Let's calm down. It's the Hermit. The truth that's going to be coming out connected to the heart. It's like someone's going to be speaking the truth with all of this Aries fire up here, or this prime martial energy up here. But as they speak it, it's also going to be healing the root down here. We have the Emperor, we have more fire, Libra, and the Magician. Libra is that element of balance. Libra is also, I guess, the air that I was looking for. The air that I was looking for is this Libra. It's cardinal. It's something brand new. So, like, not only, I feel like whatever this, there's this direct connection here. This is how whoever this is becomes the emperor. They only become this emperor when they speak whatever it is that they need to speak, connected to their heart. And since they'll be speaking from the heart, that's also what's going to be clearing up this root at the same time. And we have the 5s in different sets, right? Like not even different colors, just like different die. On the D6 is a 5, and on the D8 is this 5. So there's also a balance here between the light and the dark. And this is the blue set related to the throat and the third eye, related to truth. Someone about to come in and speak it. And I already pulled cards around this, so I'm going to put all these back in their bags now. Oof, I don't know, that's interesting. I'm a little bit more interested in this gray set, but you know, not everything could be extremely super woo-woo to the maximum. But I'll try to see if maybe the SKT will give me a little bit more information about this luminous void, because that's what I'm interested in right now. High key. Because at first I was like, it's this luminous void. There's like, here's this luminous void energy again, but I don't know what it is. Here's this luminous void, but now I'm kind of sort of starting to feel it a little bit. Don't know how to necessarily use it, but I feel like it's starting to flesh itself out. It's starting to make sense. And it's interesting that it came after that eclipse, because it is almost an eclipse energy, right? When the light doesn't exist as a light, but the shadow isn't necessarily a shadow. It's like the shadow is a shadow, but it's not dark. It's actually daytime, but it becomes dark in that total solar eclipse, right? I feel like it's some kind of Sphinxian riddle. I feel like it's some kind of riddle from an ancient mystical creature, or a sphinx, or a trickster, or something. Like, when is the light not the light, and the shadow not a shadow? And you're like, oh, when it's an eclipse. And it's like, ding, 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 that's the answer. The answer was the eclipse. And now you get your prize, which is, you know, to be continued. We make our own prizes these days. Let me stop. I mean, some of us do. I kind of want to, yeah, I'm going to just go ahead and get into these last 2 bags. I might as well. I only got 2 left. Oh, I've heard this song in my peaceful meditations before. I did not do my foot soaking today, y'all. I was in the bed, and then my mom sent me a text, and she was like, I'm going to be going to the store pretty soon. So then I went to the store. I do my foot soaking meditation tomorrow. I know. I should be doing it every day. I know. You ain't got to tell me twice. Let's see what these have. And I want to pull the Wisdom of Lord Ganesha cards. Yeah. I don't know why that just popped into my head. I kind of sort of don't want to read from the book, but at the same time I do. So I'll be open. I'll be open. They say that openness is next to godliness. They don't say that, but it is. Open this side, that crown. What that crown do? Ooh, where does cough want to try to come from? Oh, I'm so sorry. Ooh, I be having a good time with myself sometimes. Shoot. If y'all could hear my internal dialogue, y'all may not find it funny. Pray for us. Mars is conjunct your moon, your mom's Mercury, and your grandma. Oh, Lord. Girl, it may be time to go on vacation for the rest of 2020. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Okay, so there's a little. Oh, well. I will be praying for y'all home. Let me put in my little praying emojis. Ooh, girl. Ooh, girl. I don't think I have Mars really hitting anything in my chart until it gets like mid Aries. Because when it gets mid Aries, it'll be conjuncting my Venus and sliding into that grand fire trine I got. But like before then, I don't have anything in a really early degree or in a really late degree for it to be like hitting. So, and I don't think there's too much Aries in this house. So thankful for that. This deep into quarantine, Lord. I mean, but like once you know about it, though, you can just be more cognizant and aware of it. It's like, you know what? For the next whatever, tensions might be rising a little high, so I'm gonna need to keep it extra cool. You might have to tell your mama too. We all got these Mars conjunctions coming up, so you know we're gonna have to keep it cool, keep it copacetic. Another 00. Is this 9 or 6? I think this is 9. No, this is 6. So now the 6 is here. 6 is, girl, where my brain at? The lovers? 6 is the lovers. We got the lovers. And then here we have the sacral and the root. Okay, the root and the sacral. So, and this is the sacral set. So somebody may have some sacral blockages. And then we got fire again. Everything is going to be coming up fire from now on, apparently. And then this is another 16. This tower is coming out again. So the tower has come out in 3 sets, 3 out of 5 sets. The tower has come out. Am I missing one? 1, 3, 3. I am. Because there should be 7, right? The D20. No, the D12. Where's my D12? Is it on the table somewhere? Oh, it's literally right here. I was like, where's my D12? Another 6. No, this is 9. So we have Sagittarius, fire. Oops. Sagittarius, fire, the lovers, the root and the sacral, and the tower. There's some sacral chakra, root chakra combination type of blockage here that's only going to be broken by exploration. It's like, you know, sometimes if you want to clean the grease off, you got to get a little hot. It's all in this house. Oof. What about your son? Do he got any Aries in his chart, or is he just going to be sitting back watching things pop off? Oof. Because at least if he in on it too, he ain't just like, why is everyone so heated? Yeah. So there's an element. There are blockages that we come across that serve the purpose in some way, but it's not for them to be blockages forever. Oh wait, it already was over. Steadfastness. Number 22? No, 32. Steadfastness, number 32. I don't know why steadfastness, though. So I am going to have to get in the book. I'm going to have to get in the book for that. Why steadfastness? She said something about the root and the sacral. Oh, wow. And this is the sacral set. What was that? Who did? Why did Party Rock just pop into my mind? Party Rock. Party Rock is in the house tonight. I'm not getting into the book. Steadfastness. Let's look at the colors. Is this red or is this purple? Is that yellow? We got some yellow. We got a little bit of green in the trimming. We got some green right here. The sky is blue. So there needs to be some open communication. Somebody need to let something air out. You ain't necessarily got to tell somebody why you got all these sacral traumas if you got sacral traumas. But there's something that was done in the sacral that's found its way down to the root, or something in your root that keeps you conscious, subconscious in the sacral. Self-conscious. That keeps you self-conscious, not subconscious. Oof! So he just gonna be there. Maybe he'll get some. So get him some popcorn, so he can go pop the popcorn and then just sit back and watch. Stay out of this, son. You can catch this fire too. Um. Okay. She said the DF needs to do some chakra meditations for it. Yeah, there's some interaction here. I don't know if it's a sacral issue that worked its way down to the root, or if there's a root issue that is coming up to the sacral. But passion and exploration will kind of sort of do it. With this lovers coming out, though, I would say that if you're going to be doing that, if you have somebody significant in your life, or someone who is a little bit more significant in your life that can really patiently explore this with you, that would be preferable. If not, then yeah, do some meditations. Um, but if it isn't necessarily a super sacral issue, it could be some insecurities that you have within yourself, some very deep rooted insecurities that you have within yourself that limits and stifles your ability to create. With this steadfastness here, though, I mean, Ganesha as an elephant symbolism ain't just who Ganesha is. Ganesha has the power to help us break through any barriers and blockages. And Ganesha is saying, be steadfast. So if you have sacral issues, or if you're facing a creative block, you may be getting an opportunity coming up here soon. And it's like Ganesha is saying, go for it anyway. Don't allow your insecurities to hold you back from pursuing whatever this is, because it's almost like in facing this fear, you're going to be sort of getting over it. And I don't want to say like getting over it, but that's kind of sort of the energy here. But with the lovers being here, I would say, like, be careful. Be careful who you lay with nowadays, because with the lovers right here, something about this may be a little bit more permanent than you would care for, depending on who it's with, right? If it's with somebody that you like, maybe that permanent thing will be a relationship that gets more close and more intimate. If you ain't with somebody that you like, maybe you may slip up and get, a baby, or something that you got to go to the clinic to take care of, a rash, or itching or burning sensations. Be careful. Um, but I don't think it's necessarily that. I don't think it's necessarily that. You had some insecurities pop back up. Yeah. I had some insecurities like a year ago, but I worked them out with the karmic. But hey, that was the lesson he taught me, so it's all cool. It's all cool. Um, oh goodness. And it's like where I am now, I don't know, I feel like I'm not gonna be put in situations where I have to really worry about it or worry about anything too much. So, you know. But yeah, what's the nine? The nine is Sagittarius. The 16 is the tower. Oh, this is somebody crying. Somebody's gonna cry. There may be actual tears. I don't know if it's tears before, if it's tears after, or if it's tears because there is no after. I don't know. But this steadfastness is saying, don't let it stop you from pursuing whatever it is that you are pursuing. Oh, your hair. It's growing now. Oh, wow. Excuse me. I hope you get through those. Did you end up getting a cut the other day? Not the other day, but I might need to give me a haircut here pretty soon. So that's what this is all about. There's something blocking. Either this could be some insecurities related to the sacral matters, or it could be some kind of root insecurity that is limiting your creativity. I mean, you could just have a pattern of negative self-talk that would keep you from really pursuing what it is that you would pursue. And with the Sagittarian energy, I feel like that's about bold and boundless exploration regardless. With the fire here, it's about going for it regardless. Lord Ganesha said, be steadfast. This tower, if successfully navigated, has the ability to remove whatever this blockage is. But it's not necessarily going to be easy. But there's a possibility for that blockage to be removed. It may be one of those challenges that just kind of sort of we face that we have the opportunity to run from. But if we don't run, then it's like, another tick off the list that gets us closer to being more whole. Oof, girl. Well, hopefully, so it may be time to just be extra precautious and use some protection. If you weren't using protection before, I'd say use it now. Or just watch who you sleep with. Either or. Both, neither. It's your life. Okay. We have 35, 39. I think 39. I think 39 may be something that I love. Is this 4 again? 4 again. What is up with the fire? Oh my gosh. So I'm not going to get any air. It's fine. We had water and then earth and then fire and then fire and then fire and then fire. Maybe that's why there's no air. Maybe the fire is burning out all the oxygen. So it's only smoke and carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide. Is it dioxide from fire? Yeah, CO2. It's a combustion reaction. Well, you can have an incomplete combustion reaction where you get carbon monoxide and some other stuff. You're getting carbon gases and smoke. That's why it ain't no air. It's too much fire. Somebody might just be, if it's been a while, sometimes when it's been a while and you encounter with a situation and you can't necessarily think straight because you can only think about one thing. And here's this tower again. Here's the tower. The tower came out 4 times and fire came out 4 times. The tower is Mars. Mars rules the tower. I forgot about that. So I guess that makes sense. Mars is really about to tear stuff up. People have been waiting for Mars to go into Aries for whatever they thought they was waiting for. But when Mars start popping off, y'all may be wishing for the days when Mars was still chilling Pisces. Unless y'all are harnessing that Mars energy and giving it a sort of framework to work with, right? If you build the racetrack in front of it, it'll keep running the race. If you let it run off the rails, then who knows what Mars is going to bump into? Because I literally forgot that Mars rules the tower. So, and Aries is the emperor. So these emperors may be causing towers, or a lack of structure may be causing things to really fall apart, or just giving us an opportunity to come and create some structure in our own lives. Anyway, here's a 9, 39, a 5. This 5 here is Leo. So first we had Mars and Aries, then we had Sag and Fire, Mars and Aries and Fire. Here is Sag and Fire. Now we got Leo and Fire. We got this tower here. We have the heart and the crown, but this is like the double crown. This double crown energy kind of sort of changes too. Sometimes I sort of feel it more as transmitting than receiving. That when it comes to what the 8th chakra literally is, I made it a double crown because I have a D6 and a D8. And I code both of them to the chakras. And so on the D6, the 7th chakra would never come out because it only goes up to 6. So I was like, if I get the 8, then that's like the chakra on both sides. Or it's the crown on both sides. Or it's the crown that this one didn't account for or can account for. So there are some things that it was impossible for the heart to know as we were before. Generosity. Oh, look at Ganesha. He's so young in this card, y'all. Generosity is number 10. Generosity. Girl, it's so bright, y'all. Let's see if I do that a little bit. There we go. Kind of shield the light a little bit, and y'all can see. Sometimes if you cast a little shadow, it'll help you see better. Because when things get too bright, it's too bright. I love that we get generosity and we get Leo. Because Leo is a very cozy energy. A lot of Leos don't necessarily, Leos kind of sort of get a bad rap for being egotistical and all kinds of stuff. And I ain't saying it's undeserved. But there's some really, really nice Leos out there. The energy of Leo itself, it's the sun, so it's warm, it's familial, it's caring and compassionate and loving, And Ayub, this is this the 3? 6, 7, 8, 9. No, the 4 of zones. This is the 4 of zones, which is the 4 of Pentacles energy, which is interesting. This is a hearth. The 4 of zones with fire and with Leo. This is a hearth. This is us having the ability to completely change what it is that we attract to ourselves. But again, it comes from the heart. And when all of the chakras are aligned and the heart is online, if this is a transmitting crown, then that's when we put out the desires of our heart. Rather than just like receiving messages and stuff like that, if we can transmit from that, and we always do, but it also speaks to a different functionality. And there's this tower energy here. I feel like the tower here just completely changes the way that we interact with the game. Like, this is a game changer. It completely changes the game. It's this hearth energy. The 4 of zones. 4 is a number. I mean, like, I feel like I can't separate the 4 of zones from the fire and this Leo. I feel like it's all one message. And it's the heart. It's the fire pit. It's the campfire. It's the, what Prometheus sacrificed for to give us fire. So that we wouldn't be in the dark and so that we'd finally be able to not have, raw things. Like, let's cook this up. Right? Also, with fire came a certain increase in ingenuity. Um, when you are of a mind to serve, you will be given the ideas to create the things that calm the woes of man. I don't know why I'm like rubbing my arm like this now. You can't see it. um, but yeah, everything that we need moving forward already exists. And if we talk about quantum physics and quantum mechanics and the quantum nature of reality, the future already exists. And so the things that we don't know how to do have already been done. But we have to choose to do them in order for them to be done. It's a paradox. It's like in Meet the Robinsons. Oh, I don't want to talk about it because I know one person that said they ain't watched the movie yet, and if y'all ain't watched the movie, I'm gonna try to watch the movie. Ooh, I almost fried my little flash drive. I wanted to plug my flash drive into this power brick just to see what would happen. I mean, I guess it's not connected to anything, so it shouldn't like explode, right? We're upgrading the way we power things, I guess. um, anyway, things are quantum in nature. Oh, I love this. I love this. Everyone, there have been so many people feeling the wheel turning in their direction. And the wheel has already turned because it's already turned in the future. You already have the things that you are going to have. You already have them, but you can lose them if you never acquire them. And so the past and the future are all connected through this now moment. And the now moment is connected to both the future and the past. And this sort of quantum Mobius strip, right? It wraps around itself. That's the eight. And maybe that's why eight is abundance. Huh, potentially. Um, I've been feeling some type of way about the number eight lately. I ain't gonna get into it, but I don't know if I too much like it for personal reasons. I just don't like the way it looks. Oh my gosh, what is this? No, no, no. Girl, I'm shook. I'm shook. And if y'all don't know why, y'all probably won't know why. But if you know why I'm shook by openness being at the bottom of the deck, because I see Ganesha on that moon and it looks gorgeous. I wish. Hold up, wait. Let me turn this light down a little bit. I'm so shook right now, y'all. Oh, okay, yeah. You can kind of sort of see it. It's so gorgeous, this card. And look how bright that moon is. Openness is the card. Openness. And what number is this? Is this number 40? Oh my gosh. Oops. No, it's number 18. It's a 9. I was literally just thinking about nines. The reason why I don't really like the number 8, and I guess the reason why 8 can be a number of karma, is because there's no escape from 8. 8 almost feels like a prison. Because like the way that it's drawn, there's no escape from this. It just wraps around itself. And it's almost like the 0, but it's pinched in the middle. And so it separates things. 8 is a number of separation. Or not. I don't know. Oh, okay. I don't know what eights go through. All I know is I'm not too hot on the number eight lately. Eight kind of feels like a trap to me. It feels like something that you can't escape from. Because like the Mobius strip, it's infinite. You never get off. It's like a ride that you can't get off of, and it's fine, I guess, if you like the ride that you're on. But it's like, but then you get to the nine, and nine is the number of completion. So I guess it makes sense that eight is eight, and then you get completion after. Because it's almost like you're doing this with the eight, right? Just going in loops and loops and loops and loops and loops and loops and loops, loops in the eight. But then when you come into that nine, boom, you stop. Sometimes we just have to make decisions. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I've gone as far as I kind of want to go with numerology. I've kind of sort of gone as far as I want to go with astrology too. Because it's like, I don't know, I'm more interested in like, not everything needs to be redefined, but I can also understand that systems that came to be under an old energy are inherently tied to an old energy. And so if we change the octave, like we're singing a completely different song, like we've shifted the key up and you still singing, in that old key. So we need you at alto and you still singing at tenor. And this is an alto soprano only number. So if you sing in tenor, you going like you're out. Undoubtedly, eight seems very destined and determined. I don't know, it's Scorpio. I was like, what's eight? What's the eighth planet? You're no Neptune. Neptune is the eighth planet. Makes sense. You don't think it's changing it, but uncovering what others have yet to get to or missed. Yeah, I'm just kind of sort of over astrology and numerology. Not completely, but I'm like, it hasn't changed. And it wasn't built to change, really. It's supposed to be, it's kind of sort of set up to be immutable. Is that the word I want to use? Hey Siri, define immutable. Yeah, it's kind of sort of set up to be immutable, and that doesn't work for me. Um, and it's not to say that it isn't what it is, but it's like if we continue to use old tools, how are we supposed to like solve new problems, right? It's like trying to use an abacus to do things that to do calculations that you would use like a really advanced computer to do. Like you could probably still do it on the abacus, but it's going to take you a really, really, really long time, and you're going to have to be really, really, really good at keeping track of the numbers. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like an eight. It's eight. It's all eight energy. I don't know. See, it's like even if you use it with a newer perspective, it can only do so much, right? Like if I go back 10 years and I get a computer and I try to run the latest video game, it's like if I try to run new programs on old hardware, sometimes the hardware just can't keep up. I don't know. It's just what I've been thinking about. Because even if they didn't, it's like we're continuously moving through space, right? And the planets within our solar system don't necessarily change too much, but everything around it does. And so if you look at an outside perspective or outside the solar system, then it's like, what if there are aspects outside of it that influence the aspects inside? But if you don't account for the outside aspects, you're going to be continuously doing this when, we may have shifted to a whole nother octave. I don't know. It's just something that I've been thinking about. And that's why I'm like, I don't know about it. And that's why I was like, I kind of want to build these out, but then it's like, I don't know if I necessarily want to use like the numerology that's already like happening. You know what I mean? It's like when you play at a higher level, you get a different, it's like you get a different flavor. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, and then like you can dive into it like it never ends. You could spend your whole life diving into it and never reach the bottom of it. But how do you know if like once you get past a certain point, if it's still even like valid, especially if we're coming into new energy? Like, will it hold up in the age of Aquarius? I don't know. I mean, we've had it forever, but also, humanity has been repeating and looping forever at the same time. And so it's possible that with the way that the stars and the numbers are set up, they're designed to keep us looping and repeating, right? Because the planets always come back around. They're locked into their orbit, keeping us locked into the orbit we have down here. You're heading to Gematria. Yeah. I don't know. I'm all about just like, I don't know. I want to create something like new and just like fill it out. You know what I mean? Did I finish that? So, well, it's done now. Yeah, that was the hearth. Or it's like, becoming a sun and the planets that orbit around us changing, like the hearth, stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, but if we get to a point where we look up at the sky to know what time it is and where we are, like we'll never get off of Earth. And Aquarius is all about the stars, right? The age of Aquarius is about taking us beyond Earth. Astrology kind of sort of keeps us on it. And I think, is it tropical that's based more on the position of the Earth, and Vedic might be a little more heliocentric? I don't know. I mean, we're on Earth, but I didn't want to what? Oh, to get off of Earth? It's like, well, I mean, like, I still like this openness right here. I'm just like, oh snap, okay, I see you. I kind of want to read it. I kind of want to get into it. I love this card so much. I may read it later. See, it's not necessarily about leaving, but it is about creating something new. And you can't, like, you can, but it would take a lot longer and it would go a lot slower using things that are outdated to try to create something new. And it's not that astrology necessarily has an expiration date or numerology, but the interactions that we have with those planets should, because it shouldn't be the case where we're repeating the same cycles, needing the same lessons for millennia. Like Saturn always got to come around and teach us the same thing. Like Uranus is always coming around and tearing down the same thing. Mars is always going to the same place. Venus is always sitting on the same throne, eating the same food. Like, don't she get bored? Don't she get tired? Don't she want something new? That's like my thing. And I'm like, that's why I'm like, something. It's like, that's why we repeat all these, we repeat these cycles. It's like last time it's like last time, these planets were in this aspect, we had this happen. And then the same thing happens again. And people are like, oh my gosh, astrology predicted all this. But I'm over here like, oh my gosh, like humanity hasn't evolved at all if we're still repeating the same lessons that apparently went down like hundreds to thousands of years ago, tens to hundreds to thousands of years ago. Maybe not multiple thousands. Let's say tens to hundreds of years ago. Like, I'm less amazed by the accuracy of the system than I am disappointed in us as a species if we're getting the same lessons as they continue to come around. Like, where is the growth of humanity that it's literally playing out the same way? Like, that's my point. I'm like, so we just gonna keep doing this same thing. It doesn't create something new. Sometimes you got to understand where you're coming from to know where you're going. Yeah, it's like I see the validity of it. I don't know, I guess just on some deep like soul level, I just wish it wasn't the case that we had to repeat things ad infinitum. It's like here's another eight. Here's another eight. The journeyman, the Eight of Pentacles. We're stuck on this eight. We're stuck on this earth loop, thinking we're manifesting something brand new right here. But this brand new thing we manifesting is literally everything over here and up here and right there. Like, this is one of the few cards where the orbs are pretty much indistinguishable from each other. There are some cards where the orbs are different. They're all the same in this card. And it's like, it's already done up there. Y'all can't even see it. Let me turn this down so y'all can actually see. There we go. It's like it's literally already right there. So we down here trying to create something brand new when we can literally just look up and pick it from that right there. Or we could take one of these five. We don't even have to reach up. We're just like keeping ourselves stuck on the same cycles, looking at the systems as if they're majestic, but not looking at ourselves like, why have we not progressed? Why are we still doing this? Like, goodness. I mean, it's not even about like, it's just like outside of the system, because the system doesn't matter, right? I feel like if we truly progressed as a species, then the system would have stopped working, or the system would have evolved, or the system would have changed to accommodate for new energies. But it's never had to, because this current iteration of humanity hasn't experienced enough, I guess, growth or whatever for it to really make too much of a difference. If we're still using like ancient stuff, if the ancient stuff is still applicable, and like, yeah, we come out with new flavors and we do this and we do that, but for the most part, seemingly it's all the same. And it's like, man, technology can increase like out of this world, but socially and societally, what year is it? We still dealing with the issues we deal with now. What? It's fine. Yeah. Because it's like, it's one of those things, like, regardless of whether you know about it or not, it works. Ooh, the Five of Swords and the Sun. I like that energy. With this Emperor over here, what else? Let's connect this. What's connecting this Five of Swords with this Emperor? This Five of Swords and this Sun, we dismantling all of these systems. It's time to actually grow. Goodness. I don't know. I'm just like, those who don't learn from their history are doomed to repeat it. And astrologically, we've been repeating history for thousands of years. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, man. Like, there are certain things that we don't have to know. And, like, I don't have to know how a car is engineered. Just teach me how to drive it. Right? And so, on some level, it shouldn't matter if we know it or not. Because it's all, like, regardless of if you know about the law of attraction and the law of manifestation, regardless of if you know about thoughts becoming things, thoughts always become things. And so, you don't have to learn it to begin to do better. It makes it easier, yeah, but I don't know. For people to know themselves and how to navigate. True. And I guess the way it, ooh, well, this is clarifying this, first of all. I like that. I'm a fan of that. It's like I said, for people to know themselves and how to navigate through these times, still use instincts and discernment to help you, but we are still using astrology. You look at your chart and the positions I do, etc. Astrology is one of the things that will be here old and new. Right, and like it doesn't have to go anywhere, but the way that we interact with the available energy should change to the point where like the system is always going to be there, or the system can always be there. It doesn't necessarily have to go anywhere, but like shouldn't the way that we interact with that energy change? Maybe, I don't know, because like in my mind, it's like from an 8 perspective, I feel like the answer would be no, but from a 9 perspective, it would be yes. Because if we treat it like, and like if we treat them like teachers, if we treat it like school, like we should be going up a grade instead of repeating the same courses. And so the subject of math is always math, science is always science, and you can get into different branches of it, sure, but as you progress, you learn more complicated math, more complicated science, you learn other histories about other societies. I don't like 8. I'm over the number 8. I am. I'm over 8. Because somebody was talking about 8, and it wasn't, I think you were saying something, maybe, but somebody else, I was watching a video of somebody saying the number 8. Ooh, and the lovers is at the bottom of the deck. I was watching a video of somebody talking about the number 8 or something, and I'm like, 8, if you look at it, it's like a karmic trap. It's a Mobius strip. It's a ride that you can't get off of. It has no beginning and no end. It's like I don't vibe with that. Like I don't vibe with that. And that's why they talk about the Tesla trap, this 369. 8 is on that, the 1 2 4 5 7 8. Is it 1 2 4 5 7 8? Because 1 times 2 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16, so that's 7. So 1 2 4 8 7 5. Like that whole trap. I'm like, girl, I don't know. I'm just like over it. It seems like a very elaborate way for people to feel like they're getting out of the cycle, but they're still in the same cycles. It's like it's time for us to learn how to multiply and divide. This 1 + 1 and 2 + 2 and 3 + 3. Like it's time to do more. Like I feel like the planets, those energies have so much more to offer us than what we've been sort of exposed to. And it's so easy to manipulate information. But what can't be as easily manipulated is everything on the inside, you know. I mean, it kind of sort of can from everything that we put into it. But after a certain point, you get to the part where you just start to experience things differently, I guess. I don't know. So we have the Five of Swords and the Sun and the Emperor. Connecting them is the Vagabond, the Stronghold of the Flame, and the Seven of Scepters, with this Ten of Cups being the message that she brings. I feel like this speaks to there's a certain resilience, a certain element of self power, empowerment that we're coming up to that would change the way we look at the like, okay, this is I mean, this is what it is. Yeah. This is you can have a victor mentality or a victim mentality. From the stuff that happened to you in your past, you can see yourself as the victim with this Five of Pentacles that would keep you on this side. Or you can begin to see yourself as the victor, which would bring you over to this Emperor side where you have more control. And the Emperor ain't looking at none of this. All of this is behind the Emperor. The Emperor is only looking forward. This is a 9 energy. All of this is 8. And then we have this hump right here, which is the Ten of Cups, right? So we have to make it over the hump to get to this Emperor. If we don't make it over the hump, we're just naturally going to fall back over here to this. And this is like a constant struggle over here. This battle never ends. But we can rise above it with that Emperor energy and claim some kind of gift of life. I don't know. Let me stop. Let me get off of 8. 8 is just a number. It ain't 8's fault. It ain't like people say, you know, the journey is over at 8, and then, you know, thousands of years later, we're like, oh my gosh, there's actually a 9. Why didn't they ever tell us that there was a 9? You know, I don't know. Maybe there's a number after 9 that isn't 10. I don't know. I'm just like, give me something like D. Well, no, I'm gonna end it up here pretty soon because that food is done and I'm about to go eat. So I'll do that thing. What was it yesterday? What to keep in mind, what to leave behind, and where to grow. Yeah, it's just been something I've been thinking about. Not too heavily. I mean, a lot of that frustration came before. No, a lot of it came from astrology, honestly. When people were talking about astrology, and like, yeah, with these aspects, we're going to go through this, and then we're going to go through this again, and then we're going to go through this again. And it may have been more specifically that Jupiter Pluto, because Jupiter and Pluto are going to conjunct 3 times. It happened. The second time is happening now. And then when Jupiter goes direct, it's going to hit Pluto again. And it's like people are like, yeah, we're going to be repeating this. We're going to be repeating this. And I'm like, but everybody knows that those who don't learn from their history are going to repeat it. So now you're using astrology to justify the fact that we're going to be repeating something. But when do we break this trap? When do we break these cycles? When do we actually become something other than sheeple and decide to do it right the first time so that we don't have to repeat it again? Like, we're already setting ourselves up to fail when the astrological story that we're sort of sticking to is that we're going to be going through this again, right? It's like, goodness, like, I know people are like dense, but are we that dense? Like, how many different flavors do we have to be told to like learn from our past so that we don't get it? It's like, and then when you see the aspect and you be like, oh, we're gonna be reading this again. I feel like, no, I'm gonna, do the work the first time, so I'm not stuck in kindergarten for my whole life. I'd like to go to the first grade and then the second grade, maybe graduate from the K through 12 system at some point. Instead of saying, oh, Saturn is going back into Capricorn, time to go back to first grade. Second graders, I'm like, what? How'd that work? How'd that work? Yeah, but with astrology, it's like those messages are already set in stone. Especially like if you get into actual astrologers like that, it's all about patterns. It's a science. It can kind of only give us what we look for. And it's just like so many like I had a friend that was in he was a philosophy or psychology. Oof, I should know. He took a class and I was like, oh my gosh, philosophy? Like, I would love to take a philosophy class. But in the philosophy class, they don't even teach you how to think for yourself. They teach you what other people have already thought. And I'm like, what? He was like, yeah, you just learn what other people think. And then people come after them and pick up their work. Like, no one really redefines it too much. I mean, some people do, but then, they're laughed at. They're not taken seriously. But at least with tarot, like when you get into intuitive readers, like I can look at this and I can see more than just, oh, you'll be coming into some kind of abundance, right? This could be so many different things. Yeah, I know we make the choice. I guess it's just like, I don't know. It's a very, very like soul level frustration for me, I guess. Just like how we have free choice between good and evil. Ooh, there's the captor. 8 of Swords. We all stuck. Here's another 8. Rub it in my face. Another 8. All 8s are 8 of Swords. Even the 8 of Cups, where you think you're going somewhere. 8 of Swords. You ain't going nowhere. You're stuck here forever. Right. And like, I guess I get what you're saying. But as a framework, it can't really breathe. It's not designed to breathe. And like you can do intuitive astrology, which I guess would be different um, than like classical astrology, where it's like all the meanings are kind of sort of already determined, and you look at other times something has happened to get an idea of what will happen. But it's like even when we're aware, how is this? Some of these, no. Okay, well, there's the Empress. Even when I guess the Emperor came out earlier today. So let's see what links these two. How can the Empress free herself? Even when we're aware of it, what was I about to say? It's still. It's like That's So Raven, right? When she would have a vision of the future, but end up repeating, or like she would try to prevent whatever from happening, but it would happen anyway. But I guess you're right. You're right. You can look at it and you can decide to do different. So, ooh, the 10 of Cups with that Queen of Pentacles, the Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords at the cut. I like that 10 of Cups. Did I say Pentacles? Uh, like I get it, but and you find his meanings to be more accurate. I mean, I guess in some ways it's just like the language of the system, right? So like if we're living in a computer program and if everything is code, if everything is, ones and zeros on one level and then, more complex, code or non-binary code, then excuse me, you can't be upset that everything is a string of numbers. And if everything is a string of numbers, then it would help you, if you understand the numbers, to determine the program. But it's like, well, how do we get out of the game? Because if I look at the numbers inside of the game, it's not going to tell me how to get outside of the game because it's all self-contained. Yeah. I don't know. That's why the other day I was like, can you break the matrix from inside the matrix? And that was the thing about Neo. If you ain't seen the Matrix yet, then I don't know, don't listen. The whole trilogy. But that was the thing about Neo. The architect was like, there's always one person who, even inside the Matrix, can see outside of it. And he doesn't see outside of the Matrix by using any tool that exists within the Matrix, because as long as you're in the game, you're only going to come across ones and zeros. And if all you know is ones and zeros, who would ever imagine a 2, let alone a 3? But that's why I was like, even if you find a little bit of something, it's still coded, it's still programming, right? It may be this, like, I don't know. It's just, but maybe that's not the case. As a sentient species, then I feel like there would have to be some means of escape. Of saying, like, I have like actual consciousness down here, so you can't just do this to me. If anybody cares. Does anybody care? Queen of Swords with the Strength card and the Two of Swords. See, but like, even if you watch the movie, I feel like even the movie wouldn't really. Oh wow. Oh, I see that photo. I feel like if we really look at it, I don't know. I'm conflicted. Because in my mind, I'm like, if we really don't have too much control of anything, and if like there are governments and shadow governments that run literally everything, then they would also like control the media that we're exposed to. So it's like, I guess you can get partial things, and maybe it inspires more so than anything. Inspires a mind to think for itself. It inspires eyes to see in a way that maybe they didn't see before, to begin to question and look at things that they weren't questioning and looking at before. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know, if I was running something and I wanted to keep people trapped, like, I wouldn't leave the keys inside of the cell and be like, haha, like, find it. There's that tower. I'm gonna end it off here. Oh, I didn't even do what I wanted to do. I'm gonna finish after this. See, but it's like, we only think that they put things in plain sight because we've been conditioned to think that they put things in plain sight by different movies and games and like escape rooms and stuff like that. We're conditioned to believe that there's a chance for us to actually be free, when in reality that may not be the case, right? Because even if you beat the video game in the video game, the character is still in the video game. But I don't know. I'm just like, you believe it's a game to them. I mean, I guess it could be. It wouldn't be a very fun one, would it? I mean, who would be watching? Like, I wouldn't play this game. It's like, man, they've been doing the same thing for literally hundreds of years, or like for decades. Like, this is the worst game ever. And it's like, every Call of Duty, it's basically the same game, but they change the skins. They update the graphics and they call it something brand new, but it's the same experience for the most part. And maybe Call of Duty has changed. I don't know. I don't play them. I play like Modern Warfare 2. And my brothers used to get like all of them. I'm like, this looks like the same game you just played. Like a lot of Mario's are the same. A lot of Zeldas, you get similar items and the settings are different and the stories are different. So I get it. But at the same time, I'm like, I wouldn't be watching it. But it's like, in my mind, like it doesn't make sense if we're not supposed to be aware of the game when there are so many books and movies and TV shows and video games where it's like that's literally the concept. So like it's like we're not supposed to know, but you're telling us. I guess like I see what you're saying, like it's reverse psychology. But at the same time, I'm like, can you break any system from within the system? Like, and we're talking about a lot of systems societally right now, right? In this country, especially in America, it's like we need to reform this and we need to reform that. But some of these systems, like, were built to do exactly what they're doing. They're doing what they were established to do. Now we're coming to a space where where we've collectively, more collectively, as a greater majority, decided that we don't like it, but it was never designed to do that. And so within the system, you're not gonna create something like you can't type anything to me using a keyboard outside of the keys that are already on the keyboard. Sometimes you just got to make a completely new keyboard. True. I guess that's the one good thing about all of these awakenings happening. You know, when enough people demand it, when the consciousness is high enough to demand it, then it must be um, honored. So that's true. That's true. Then maybe we'll get the real astrology. Oh, you see this Saturn and this Mercury interaction? Well, if you do it this way, you can use the energy from Saturn to really hone in and create the structure and foundation for that Mercury, and then you can go wild. Like, oh my gosh, what? All this time, Saturn and Mercury, I thought my communication would have been extremely limited and I wouldn't be able to communicate my points to other people. But you're telling me I can literally create things? It's like, yes, like, what do you think a magician and a world energy would give you? Like, my texts aren't sending. Anyway, let me stop. Let me stop. Yeah, you're right. I don't see, like, part of me, part of me is like, yeah, they weren't expecting it. But another part of me is like, somebody up there was expecting something to have happened. Because I feel like if they weren't, they wouldn't have been involved. Any force of good, any force of light on this planet. But I guess, at the same time, see, that's the thing about the light, though. The light will be like, oh, well, you got to choose it. You have to choose it. So we're not going to do it. We're not going to move. It's like somebody's like, why didn't you tell me that so and so and so and so was here? And then they're like, well, you didn't ask. And you're like, but I've been looking for that person. Like, oh, well, guess you should have asked me and I would have told you. I'm like, okay, well, at least we made it, right? That's the only important part is that if we decide to do it differently, we don't got to worry about everything else. But I don't know. And then it's like, who am I to question the system? I am who I mother freaking am. Who am I to just buy into it? Like, hello, I'm a whole consciousness myself. I don't have to accept the systems as they are. Like no one has to. So between the captor and this empress, how do we free this imprisoned divine feminine energy when the divine masculine energy was just basically fighting aspects of itself? First comes a stealing of the mind, a recognition of the things in the past. This is that shadow work, that inner healing. Next comes strength and the Two of Swords. Strength and the Two of Swords to me is this is feminine energy. Feminine energy doesn't look. Feminine energy feels. And that's where this blindfold comes in. It's the strength to close one's eyes. This is extremely figurative. It's the strength to close one's eyes when a train is coming, knowing that the train isn't actually there. And then once you sort of blindfold yourself and you're willing to be led by feeling rather than your sight, then it's like you open yourself up to a whole new world of possibilities. And that's where this divine feminine energy thrives. Because even in this Empress card, you see that dragonfly covering her eyes? She don't see nothing either. She blindfolded too. Because masculine energy is about what you can see and what you can perceive. Feminine energy is about what you can feel, what you can imagine beyond the box. This is the void, operating in the void. There's no light in the void. Only feelings, like the moon. Girl, see, but do you see that though, Mimi? Like, do you see what you just said, girl? Like, the next level. So we still playing the game. Why are we still playing the game? Like execute the next level. Like I'm trying to it's game over. Like I'm stepping away. I'm not playing somebody else's games no more. Like hello, this see you still over there playing people games. See you still over there playing games, and that's how they get you to think. With that tower on the bottom, it's time for some things to change. Level 2. Ooh, cutting to the keeper. We'll get there eventually, or some of us will. Shoot. The Ascended Masters are those people who are like, you know what? I'm gonna make my own game, and then they just leave, and then like, wow, where'd they go? It's like all of Neo's friends and family. You know, it's like one day he was in the Matrix, the next day he's just gone. Like, did they have a funeral for him, or was it like he never existed, or what? How did the Matrix compensate for him being removed from the program? That's what I want to know. I have not seen enough Riverdale to know what the Gargoyle games are about. Sorry. Okay. So what to keep in mind? The first card will be what we can keep in mind. What do we need to keep in mind? What to keep in mind? What to keep in mind? There we go. Next is what to leave behind. What do we need to leave behind? What do we need to leave behind? What do we need to leave behind? What are we leaving behind? The last time I did this, we were leaving everything. What are we leaving behind today? What are we leaving behind today? What are we leaving behind? What are we leaving behind? Y'all have to flip out because I can see the cards. What are we leaving behind? There we go. And where are we healing today? An area to grow or heal. Growth or healing. Please. I kind of want to just pull one. I'll pull one. I'll pull this one. But I'm going to get another one too. And then I can do an I Ching. Yes. See? What if the things we need to do or have to do to be free, no one prepared to do, can fathom doing or risk? See, the thing though is like, when it comes to Earth, it seems like what really drives things is the heart. but people have been so disconnected from it that that's why, you don't really expect too much from humanity actually coming together, right? It took a pandemic on top of like everything that had been happening in this country already. Like the Black Lives Matter movement was not just born yesterday. Like it's been around for a good second now. People have been saying things for a good minute now. Now something has happened, but I guess and I don't know if I want to attribute it to the folks waking up, because some of the folks waking up were like, "Oh, the world is crazy. Just ignore everything happening and go inside and create yourself a little isolationary bubble and pretend like it's not happening." I'm like, okay, well, thanks, but it's the heart, and so it doesn't necessarily matter what we conceive or what we think of. It's what we actually do, right? It's so, oh my gosh, somebody just sacrificed themselves to save that baby, and then you break the simulation. You know what I mean? It's not like trying to crack the code. It's literally just like being a compassionate being. They're compassionate down there. Okay, we got to shut down the simulation. They've got some compassion. We can't keep doing whatever we were doing. Not only conscious, but compassionate. Because consciousness without compassion is basically nothing. You can have 15 million people awake, but if no one ever does anything, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, I know. I know I'm being a little difficult today, but I'm just kind of over it. To dig a chip out of your body, that takes heart, girl. The chip is in the heart, and if you dig your heart out of your body, you're dead anyway. Oh, the Seven of Wands. So what to keep in mind is that troubles don't last always, as grandmama said back in the day. Troubles don't last always. With the Seven of Wands, with the Dark Horse, what to keep in mind, how resilient we are, how strong we are, that in the darkness is where, heroes are made and born. In those moments of strength and courage, when you dig deep and you didn't think you have anything left, but you find something, that's where it all changes. That's where it happens. And that's what we need to keep in mind, that the darkness is necessary. The dark nights of the soul are necessary because it's the only way that people learn. Not the fake heart they're going to try and put in us. They can keep that. I mean, but without that fake heart, some people wouldn't have anything. It's like you got to get the real heart before you take the fake heart out. Because if you ain't got a real heart before you take the fake heart out, you ain't got nothing to pump blood in your body. So, what to leave behind is this Two of Pentacles. I love this. I love the Two of Pentacles in this deck, the Nocturne. We just need to leave all that old world stuff behind. We need to leave it behind. I've been just like, I don't know. I've been on one. And I've been fairly calm. Mercury is, here I go talking about astrology. I'm a hypocrite. It's 8:08. I look at the clock and it's 8:08. As soon as I start talking about astrology, there's them eights. There are those eights, and they're still there. There's those eights. As soon as I start talking about astrology, girl, Mercury is about to hit my Mars again, so I'm probably going to be getting a little heated. But I'm going to be having a Mars square because my Mars is in Cancer and Mars is in Aries. So maybe this time I'll be a little chiller. I'll be chiller if I decide to be. I know I'm a hypocrite. It's a complex system we live in. Just because I'm in it don't mean I gotta like it. See, I think, first of all, I don't think they would call it a chip. I mean, even if they did, I feel like we don't think critically enough. I feel like we've been preconditioned for so long. Like, I was raised in the church, and I've been hearing about the end days since basically I was an infant. People's been talking about chips. People have been talking about the mark of the beast. People have been talking about this. People have been talking about that. And it's not that there's any falsity to it necessarily, but it's like I'm not doing all of this critical thinking and introspection and reflection to accept the fear that was literally put into me from day one about this time that we're in now. It's like we call ourselves trying to escape one fear, one program, but we're defaulting to another program that's been running at the same time the other program's been running. That, oh, they're going to give you this chip, they're going to mark you, they're going to do something, and that's going to be the end days. You're going to be selling your soul. Like, we've been running both of these programs in tandem this whole time. Where's the third option that we haven't seen yet? Who's to say? Like, I ain't gonna get up here and say I'm gonna just willingly take anything, but I'm also not gonna fall into the counter narrative that's been running this whole time, that it would be by default evil. Because I feel like if I just fall into the counter narrative, that doesn't, like, it would, I feel like it would go against everything I call myself doing if I just like refuse to look at the world outside of these two sides of this one fence. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, because it's like there's already a story, there's already a narrative behind it. So, and like, if I was told that if I had to get a chip to work and get money and fly, like, I don't necessarily, like, I already have a social security number. And I know a social security number isn't a chip, but they already have ways and means to track us anyway, right? Now, if you're telling me that this chip like has the ability to just like shut your body down, that's one thing. But if it's just a chip, then it's like, not to say that I would just get it, but like there are already ways that they track us. Like, I wonder if people were talking about social security numbers were the mark of the beast. Like, once they give you the social security number, then your life is over. You've taken the mark. You're a number in the system. It's like, let's think a little bit more critically. I mean, it's not a yes. It's I would have to think about it when it happens, right? Because I'm not like I don't play in the realm of absolutes. I don't say yes, I would absolutely do this, and I don't say no, I absolutely wouldn't. Because a lot of people say that they would and wouldn't do a lot of things that they do or don't do when they're actually in the situation. Now, what I'm going to say is, I'm like, in my mind, it doesn't make sense to automatically jump to one perspective, just like it doesn't make sense for me to automatically jump to another. Right? As a conscious being, I maintain my right to think about it from both sides and not to just default to one side because there's this huge wave of a counter narrative that's been literally spinning since before I was born. Like, since I've been born, we've been living in the end days. Since I've been born, we've been talking about getting the mark of the beast. And it's like, if that's been the story that the collective has been fed, like, do you see how we're still in the game? Like, we've been playing the game since we even reached this point. Now the collective is manifesting since it's been told all this stuff for so long. Oh, there's this mark coming out. They're going to chip you. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. It reminds me of the bunny card in, oh my gosh, and the bunny, the rabbit, it's a prey animal. It's perfect. It reminds me of the bunny card in Kim Cran's Wild Unknown Animal deck. It's like there's this bunny making a huge commotion about getting eaten by an eagle, and then the eagle flies overhead, and here's the bunny making this huge commotion about getting eaten by an eagle. So the eagle swoops down and eats the bunny. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And then it seems like the alternative to taking the chip is going primitive. And it's not to say anything against the people who would go out and live more natural, live off the grid or whatever, but why is it that those are our two options? Where is the third path that no one is thinking about? Why is it this either or game that we literally have been playing for at least 28 years? Because it was happening before I was born. Like, like this is how we're still in the game. We think by making a choice we're choosing to escape, but there is no Zion. There is no Zion. Like the machines had that city under their thumb literally the whole time. You find out at the end of the movie when they tell Neo, when the architect tells Neo, yeah, you can pick 10 people, you'll start a new Zion, and then we'll do all of this over again. Like it was already like, it's a losing game. It's time for us to see ways that aren't being seen. See, but the thing about dreams, I don't know. I don't necessarily systems run so deep. And if we look at it with the biblical context, and I know the Bible is another book, but if we look at it in that, even if we don't look at it in a biblical context, there are so many realms above ours. And duality runs above ours. Like you got to go pretty high before duality stops being a thing, because without duality, like things kind of sort of don't really operate too much. And so I don't know, in my mind, it's still about choosing the paths that are yet unseen. Because you can have a dream about the apocalypse, but the apocalypse that actually occurs in real life is just, systems change. We're moving from, you know, English to metric. And so you're dreaming about, I don't know, cups exploding and the roads being torn apart and cars exploding, anything that would run on an English system now being converted to metric. Like dreams get so subtle, and like anything can use those channels. Anything of a high enough sort of level of consciousness can use those channels. It doesn't have to be good, doesn't have to be bad. It can be literally anything. I'm just the type, like I'm a life path 7, getting back to systems in the matrix. So I question like everything. And maybe that's not even just a life path 7, that's just me. And I got a Gemini South Node too. So I question everything. I don't play absolutes. And so even if I get it in a dream, it's like, and then there are also these things like energy is fluid. And just because you get it doesn't mean it has to transpire. Into the Wild is not an unseen path. Into the Wild was literally the alternative. Either you stay in society or you don't. I mean, it's not, I guess it isn't for everyone to question. I I choose to put my faith and my belief in paths that I don't see, in things that are not obvious, and things that are not apparent. Because so much of what duality offers us in life, when it comes to larger things outside of ourselves, seems to be like a lose-lose game. And so just because I choose to take a different path doesn't mean I'm staying in. But I'd rather, like, if it comes to the point where I need to manifest a whole new like timeline where things just sort of work out, that's where I'm gonna put my faith. Because it's like you can have one person who has a prophetic dream about the world falling apart. And then you can have another person who has a prophetic dream about things working out. Where do you choose to put your faith? What do you choose to manifest into your reality? Where do you put your chips? I mean, we say that what's happening now wasn't expected, but there was like a clip of who, George W. Bush, or somebody saying that we need to be prepared, or maybe Obama said it too. People have been saying we need to be prepared for a global pandemic situation for like years, and then it happens. So somebody knew something. Somebody expected something. I don't know. I guess my thing ultimately just is like, as long as you're within the system, you'll only see what the system will allow you to see. And so let's say the game is running at 8D and your highest viewpoint is 7. You'll never see the 9 that is the way out. You'll never see the 9 that is the unknown path. And it kind of sort of like, if 7 was the soft cat before, if 7 was the cat before we came into this expanded consciousness where maybe we can begin to see beyond the cycles and systems that we've been trapped in when we were operating at a lower consciousness, then like it makes sense, you know? But as we raise the frequency, as we raise the vibration, supposedly we open ourselves to whole new potentialities of realities instead of playing at what would have been the best or worst case scenario before when we were more limited because we didn't have the bandwidth. So in my mind, like that's why I always go to like there are like, and this is just who I am as a person. There are so many things that I don't know. That's one of the reasons why I don't dwell in the realm of absolutes because there are so many things that I don't know. So I'm not going to make a final call based off of the limited information that I have, based off of what has happened up until now, because something could happen truly unexpected, something can happen truly miraculous. And it's gotten me this far in life, so I'm going to continue to manifest the unexpected and miraculous as best I can, but it's all part of it's all part of the game. It's all part of the nature of things. Oh wow. So where to grow? We have the Ace of Wands and the Stronghold of the Zephyrs, which is interesting because the Stronghold of the Zephyrs brings us a message from the unformed lands, and then the Ace of Wands is the Sacred Fire, which may be going in a new direction. This could be a revelation. This could be information that we may have not have even like been able to conceive or consider coming to our knowledge and awareness. And also it's coming with the call to act on it and to do something. It's like we're getting the vision singularly with this Page of Swords, but we're supposed to make it bright enough for the collective to be able to see it, for other people to be able to see it. Yeah. See, but I feel like when you read that, you choose not to be in fear and to prepare for what could be. Like there's so much fear with how that sentence just reads because I think there's a fine line between fear and preparation. Ooh, let's see. But yeah, anything is possible. So I mean, it can work out anyway. Ooh, bottom of the deck is the Nine of Pentacles. The Chariot is the message that she brings. So whatever your path, go with it. It's almost like dust, like stardust. As you move through the cosmos, you sort of collect more and more dust, and your gravitational pull pulls it all in, and it also compacts it to the point where you become a whole body. But if you move in a way in an area void of dust, then you're not really gonna grow. That's why you got to go through the nitty gritty. I mean, it's like I guess in my experience, it's been how I've seen faith demonstrated in my own family, and faith has become one of the generational gifts that was born from, I guess, generation after generation of it being taught and strengthened. And so it's like there are things that we do in preparation for things, but I don't. It's just like because like if because like there's almost this fear underlying that of the chips. Going back to the chip question, right? The fear of being chipped, the fear of a vaccine, the fear of a cure comes with the fear of the chip that would be in the cure or in the vaccine as a result of what's happening. And the fear of a chip comes with the fear of the control, comes a fear of the handing over of control, comes like it's fears wrapped in fears, wrapped in fears, wrapped in fears. But you're choosing an alternative path, but these fears are over here informing this decision. Like there are many ways to react out of fear. It's not a sort of one sort of, you know, just because you're not prepared to take a life with a gun doesn't mean and it's not to say that you are in fear, but I'm just saying it gets very energetically complicated when you are preparing for worst case scenarios. Because when you prepare for the worst case scenario, you're manifesting the worst case scenario. You're also manifesting the preparation for the worst case scenario, but energetically, you're manifesting that worst case scenario. And so, regardless of if it's necessarily fear or not, and it's not to tell anybody to be unprepared at all, but when things are less subtle, they get more complicated, right? It's like stocking up, preparing for the storm. It's like the bunny with the eagle. It's you're stocking up, preparing for the storm, and at the same time, you're manifesting the storm that you're preparing for. They kind of go hand in hand. You do them both at the same time. And that's what I mean by like it's a fine line. But like you're preparing for a purpose though. Preparing with a like if you're preparing with the potentiality in mind, that's a complete energetic package. I guess I don't know. We just see it differently, and that's fine. It's okay if we don't like agree on this one thing. Another page. Oh, auto messages. Oh, page of wands with the four of wands. Yeah. See, but everything is a potentiality. And that's the thing about energy. Oh, with the seeker at the bottom of the deck, like that. Energetically, everything is a potentiality because nothing is definite or determined until it happens. And so there are many ways to invest in a potentiality. And once you've invested in that potentiality, you can't really pull the investment. It's why on a certain energetic level, it goes hand in hand. It's one reason why like people who sort of stock up and prepare are people who freak out about getting robbed or whatever. They're like, I'll get the security system just in case it happens, and then it happens. And then they're like, wow, I'm glad I got the security system. But at the same time, when you got a security system out of fear of the thing happening, then the thing happened, because that's literally the reason why you got the security system. But it's all very like subtle. Right? It doesn't like the fear doesn't necessarily have to be there. Because like fear of being robbed is one way to manifest it. But preparing for the case that it happens is also another way. Because it's like it's the frequency that lies beneath the preparation. You can prepare, so like you prepare to go out the house or stay inside, but then you make a decision, right? I don't know. It's all just like it's very, very subtle, I guess is the best way I can put it. Because everything is like it's a complete package. And that's why people say, like watch the words you speak, even if you don't mean it. Like when it comes to good morning, some people say like you shouldn't say good morning because MOURNING versus MORNING. And that's another thing. It's like if we continue, it's like whatever you put your intention into has weight completely. See, but fear, I'm just saying that fear isn't the only way to manifest this. Fear is, it's only one way. We can manifest the end of days because of fear, or we can manifest the end of days because of preparation. We can manifest the end of days because of desperation, because we don't want to continue ourselves, and so we want to take the whole world with us. We can manifest the end of, like, there are so many ways to get there, so many roads that lead to the same destination. And even if that isn't on your destination, if you set yourself on a course that passes within the vicinity of a 2-kilometer radius, then you've put yourself that close to it. And not everyone necessarily needs to go through it to make it a point on the map that we now have to like get through. So yeah, like I'm just saying, like it's not that, I don't know, I'm just saying it's like it's really, really subtle. And especially like in my experience growing up in the church, like they've been talking about the end days and the mark of the beast. Like the book of Revelations has been the book of Revelations for a minute. And not to say it's not prophetic and not to say that it's not going to happen, but it's also been in the mind of the collective for so long that if it then becomes like it's had so much time to amass so much that it's, it's more likely to become a reality. And something that powerful, I guess, something with that much consciousness behind it isn't necessarily easy to stop or prevent, but it's also a recognition that, the collective has been driving itself to that point for quite some time as well. Yeah. Like I get where you're coming from. And it makes sense. Like I'm not saying I would take the chip. Like I also have a healthy level of skepticism. I won't just take anything. But my whole point is like, I don't know. I'm just feeling called to a space to look at narratives beyond narratives. Because the power of narratives is immense, and the story we've been heading to for a minute I'm just looking for a surprise ending. I'm looking for that twist to come in where everybody else in the theater is like, "Oh my gosh, what?" And then I'll be like, "Yep, I saw it. I saw the signs." So you got to know where to look in these certain scenes, and then it pop up afterwards on YouTube. It's about the middle path, right? The middle path, the hidden path, the unseen. It's that luminous void to tap into the realms and dimensions between realms and dimensions and to shine so brightly that the world has no choice but to reflect it. And I know I'm only one person against a whole collective, but at the same time, I'm not going to allow that to dim my faith. Because, the stronger it gets, the more people kind of sort of see it, and then it'll be the new narrative, and people will be talking about, hey guys, like in however much time, hey guys, with this energy, we should be really focusing on this or focusing on that. And then people with an actual platform can turn the voice of one into the voice of many, right? And that's the Hierophant versus those who go beyond that Hierophant energy to claim their own voice of 1,000 instead of being one in the chorus. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, like, that's what, I don't know. I just personally, like, I don't necessarily like it when people do stuff like that because it's always, like, pointed. Like, there's always a point when someone asks you a question like that. And my answer is typically, like, I don't know, like, whenever, if the situation arises, then we'll talk about it. They're like, no, just like if it happened, then what would you do? I'm like, people say all the time, if somebody attacked me, I would fight back. And then they get attacked and they freeze up. And it's like, okay, well, where was your fight, miss? I would fight back. Now the situation actually happened and you just stood there. Right? And then they looking like a fool. That's why I'm just like, you know what? When it happens, it happens. But yeah, it's a lot. Like, that's why in my dreams, I've had so many dreams where I would be in a crowd of people or in a group of people and something would go down and I would be the only person that would like try to fight back. And I had a few dreams when I was trying to empower other people and I was like, this is wasting too much time. I'ma just go. Can I get a card, please? Because I've been shuffling these for a minute. Like, y'all can just drop something out for me to stop. Like, that would be cool. If openness fell out, that would be amazing. I would love it. I loved that card. That moon was so bright. But yeah, I deal in the subtle realms, in those realms between realms. I guess in some ways I've been able to manifest some stuff for myself throughout the course of my life where the odds were extremely slim. Sometimes you find things in the universe that were meant just for you. And there may be a little slightly different. The vibration of this earth may be high enough to just barely make it by all that foolishness that I heard growing up of the end days and the mark of the beast and everything else. It's like, but we're conscious now, we're not who we were. We've set ourselves on a whole new course. Maybe we'll see. We'll see when it all works out. But if you don't got to get the chip, you can, like, you're welcome. I don't need anything. So I'm just, a humble little person down here. But when that situation and scenario doesn't happen, because there have been so many things that were predicted to be a little worse than what they were. And when things rise up, and that's why sometimes I say our attention is divine, because when we're aware of it, we can choose to actively manifest something different. And it's like, it could have been a lot worse. Like, we could have fought World War III before like the pandemic happened, and then where would the world have been if we were like in the middle of like World War III and then the pandemic hit? Oh my gosh! Like, right? It's like no, I'm like not in my reality, not in my life. Sorry, not sorry. It's just not gonna happen. Okay, I'm about to just pull a card because they ain't giving me nothing, and I want to go eat. Ooh, I like this divine support. Thank you. I got the angels on my back. Bottom of the deck is surrender. Nope. Bottom of the deck is surrender. I don't think so. Y'all can surrender if y'all want to. I'm taking this divine support energy. I'm whatever angels want to be on my back and help me with this. I will accept that assistance. Wait, Ethereal Vagina? Tarot? Was that her name? Surrender. I ain't surrendering. Did you just put a U in rumors, girl? See, that ain't even you typing Miyoshi. That ain't even you. You just put a U in rumors. What kind of British? Let me stop. It's just like there's so much that's unnecessary that we used to fall into. And it's like, you know what? Like, or we could not. That's going to be my new saying. Like, or we could not. Or we could not. Like, oh my gosh, there's a war. There's going to be a war. Or we could not. It's like, we could do better. Number 48, divine support. Y'all can still see it. Hold on, let me turn it so it's up right for y'all. There you go. Let me boost this a little bit more. There you go. I don't know if that helped or hurt, but oops, that's definitely not the way I wanted it. See, let me turn this light back down. But if I turn the light down too much, then I won't be able to see. Ooh, look at them colors. Yellows and oranges and reds. Yellows. Primarily yellows. That solar plexus is more powerful than we were led to believe. Ooh, wait, what to say? What is this? What's divine support. Is a powerful tool for bringing focus and awareness to the deeper meaning of life. That may be like the but it's spelled AUM. Ganesha is strongly connected to the mystical syllable sometimes written Om. Yeah, it is Om. Okay. Then why didn't y'all just write it that way the first time? Hello? So Om is a powerful tool for bringing focus and awareness to the deeper meaning of life. Ganesha is strongly connected to the mystical syllable Om. The sacred Om is the most important universal symbol of the divine presence in Hinduism. It is held to be the cosmic sound, which was generated when the world first came into existence. The written form of this divine symbol, when revered, gives the flawless outline of Ganesha. The what? Okay. The use of the Om sound is one way to help you connect to the divine support available to you now. Ganesha is ready to share his wisdom, knowledge, and guidance that is innate within his being. Okay. You now have the opportunity to cultivate a closer relationship with Ganesha or with any ascendant master or divine being that resonates with you. Drawing on divine support facilitates a greater connection to your divine voice, which can be a source of inspiration and great wisdom in times of uncertainty or challenge. Ganesha's desire is to assist you on your life path. Know that he is guiding you away from fear, distress, and anguish, and towards the light and love at the center of your being. The same light and love which resonates through the vast universe and which is contained within the universal sound of Om. Consider chanting this tone or listening to a recording of Om to bring about the energetic shift that is needed at this time. Girl, so I'm going to be hitting that Om. You already know that was my confirmation. The rest of y'all can surrender. I'm going to be hitting my Om, and it's not even going to happen. Like, no one will even know. No one will. I guess, after everything happened, these videos is public. People will come back to this and be like, oh my gosh, Ascended Master Patrick, the one who would stand against the very fabric of reality when it came to planet Earth with bravado. Girl, and so, I get it. I understand. So, don't feel bad. Or, it's not a thing, I am who I am, but I also know that the world is what the world is. And so it's yeah, it is what it is. But someone has to be that visionary. Someone has to be the first to see a way that I guess no one else saw. And even if I'm not the one, I'm gonna just continue to believe in what I choose to believe, because it would do the world such a disservice. It would do humanity such a disservice if I didn't. And I can see the heart of humanity opening, and I can see it beating. At first, I kind of sort of just felt it. Now I can actually see it a little bit more. So, it is what it is. No offense, no hard feelings. I am gonna hit that Om though. Even if Om is even the noise, it may be another sound. Om could be doing the opposite. It's written. It's in a book. Let me stop. Let me stop. I mean, it's not I feel like it was one of those things though, where it's neither one of us was going to switch sides on that. And so it's just one of those things where, but that's one of the things that I like. I think people think that I'm a lot more argumentative than I actually am. People think that I argue just for the sake of arguing, but I actually do like I have my point of view, and even my own points of view aren't absolute. I still this was not the place for that. I'm not always right, and I recognize that. But through talking to people and really talking to people, and what some other people may consider to be arguing, but that's when you get the truth of their perspective, right? And I don't know. It's I just like seeing other sides, even if I won't necessarily change on mine. You know what I mean? So I feel like other people usually come out of it a lot more heated than I am. And yeah, see, yeah, exactly. It's just I don't know. I watched Above Majestic on Hulu the other day. I was gonna watch Bob's Burgers. I had Don't Judge Me. No, wait. Yeah, I think I had the Popeyes chicken sandwich. No, it might not have been that day, but it might have been. Don't judge me. And I was gonna watch Bob's Burgers, but I ended up watching that instead. And then I don't know, it just got me thinking about everything in a way that I wasn't necessarily exactly consciously thinking of it before. And I guess it just caused me to, or it put me in a mindset to just question things a bit more, right? And even when when the virus broke out and people were talking about pandemic, it's I don't know. It's our brains are big enough to be critical of things without just jumping sides all the time. But you felt like a pushover though, now that you think about it. Okay, gotcha. And I'm not saying that anyone isn't critically thinking. That's not what I mean. It's just within me and myself personally, It's like there are so many levels and layers to so many different things that's why I don't like absolutes, because there are so many things that I don't know. Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that. I feel like this was just, I'm coming into my Sag energy. You got a lot of Sag energy. We both archers. Ain't nobody, shooting to harm or maim. We doing some target practice. See who can hit the target from the farthest distance or whatever. You know. And Mars is in Aries right now, so yeah. I mean, and ultimately, it's like that's the point anyway. Sagittarius is low key. Oh, okay. Virgo is there. Virgo and Sagittarius are the most fixed, mutable energies. I just threw Virgo in there because I don't too much know Virgo, and Virgos can be very particular. Anybody can be particular, but anyway. Anyway, I ain't going. Sagittarius can be real fixed though, like low key, high key. I got this one Sagittarius friend. He was like, "This is how it should be, and anyone who doesn't think like me is dumb, and they should be killed." Like he would literally say that people who don't agree with him or see things the way he sees them should be killed. And I'm like, okay. And that's why that friendship didn't necessarily last. I mean, that's not the only reason why. Um, but I'm just like, wow. So I just can low key be like that though. The preachers. Frankie, all right. Well, I'm gonna shut this down. I'm gonna go get some food. This food was done like 2.5 hours ago. I hope you'll have whatever time y'all are putting y'all's coins into half. I hope it's a good time. I hope you're having a good time. I hope y'all are I hope y'all are having a great time. Um and either way, like we're gonna get through this. We all want to make it through this at the end of the day. And that's gonna be the energy that's gonna be the energy that's most prevalent. Everyone is getting to the point where they're wanting better and where they want to move forward. And a lot of us are starting to realize that the way things were in the past ain't it. So that's extreme. What's extreme? Going next door. You going next door? What they got over there? They got some good food. Can you smell it coming in from the window? Miss Johnson next door throwing down in the kitchen. Cherry pie on the windowsill, smelling real good. All right, I'm just playing. All right, I'll catch you later. I'll catch y'all later. Thank you if you were with me for being with me and collective. I don't tell y'all that I love y'all because some of y'all I don't know about. I'm just playing. We're all doing our part to get to a brighter day, to get to a brighter tomorrow. So catch y'all later. Bye.